Being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do.
It's not correct that there is such a thing as biological sex.
You believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So
pregnant.
you are denying that trans people exist?
A transgender woman losing her cool when she says an employee at an Albuquerque video game store called her sir instead of ma'am.
I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner
No,
because
it's
that's
her. You're not being polite to the pronoun.
Because
disrespectful.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Like waves that crash against the shore. Cue the B-roll, please. Feminism has been relentlessly slamming against the shores of traditional values for over a century. First wave of feminism, right around the turn of the century. What did they want? The right to vote. By the late 20th century, however, second wave feminism, led by Gloria Steinem, Betty Friedan, and others, wanted to separate the procreative act from the procreative consequence. In other words, they wanted sexual liberation, baby. Modern third wave feminism wants to separate women from their gender. Matt Walsh exposed this, of course, in What is a Woman? But in my humble opinion, Matt never really went about the business of defining what a woman is.
What is a woman?
What is a woman?
Marry one and find out.
Well, you wouldn't think it would be necessary to define what a woman is any more than you should have to debate over what a pair of eyeglasses are. It does force us to study the subject of femininity. Culture thinks there's only two theories of femininity, the traditional and the modern model. You know, the old dumb people and now the super smart people. And you and I might be inclined to reflexively side with the traditional model of femininity because, hey, June Cleaver, that's a lot better than a dude who wears a girl's swimming suit and beats women in swimming races. I get that. But let's take a closer look at the competing positions and see if maybe, just maybe, we Christians should be touting a third model of femininity. This is John Fabarez from our TV series and youth group study, Road Trip to Truth.
The cultural debate on what defines a woman can be roughly split into two models, the traditional and the modern. The traditional model of femininity is strong on physical and emotional definitions, but performatively, women are restricted to societal roles of wife and mother. In other words, it's low on freedom. The modern model of femininity says women are completely free to choose their own roles in society. But physically, anyone can be a woman, including men. In other words, it offers too much freedom while being low on meaningful definitions. So, with severe deficiencies in each model, where do we look? Is there some other model that can give women a sound standard to live by? Well, hold your skepticism, because we're going to consider the Bible.
The biblical model of femininity can be broken into three categories: the physical, the emotional, and the performative. Category 1, the physical. According to the Bible, there are only two genders, male and female. Humans are what's called sexually dimorphic. That is, men and women exhibit physical differences beyond those of their reproductive systems. Women have softer features, slanted femurs, which give them wider hips and are generally of a smaller frame with less muscle mass. These characteristics suit women for hospitality, crafting with their hands, and rearing children. But despite their physical differences and their perceived usefulness, the Bible is clear. Men and women are of equal value, equally reflecting the glory of their perfect and holy Creator. And this value stays constant no matter what culture says. Any teaching, whether traditional or modern, that declares men are more important or valuable than women is in direct violation of this first principle and is thoroughly unbiblical. Category number 2, the emotional. The Bible shows women as nurturing, empathetic supporters who bring a strong connectedness to their relationships. It's not that women are more emotional than men, as both share the same emotions in different measures, but women tend to be more emotive or expressive with their emotions. Category 3, the performative. Flowing out of God's design for women as the gentler, hospitable, more empathetic members of the human race, women are called to fulfill the role of submissive supporter. While at face value, submission may sound like second-class citizenship for women, it operates more like a dance, where one person leads and the other follows. Neither are more valuable than the other, but if each disregards their respective roles, you don't have a dance. You have chaos. Yes, it's true that God is described with male pronouns and is called our Father, but God is not a man. He's male in his essence, yes, but it still requires two genders to glorify God to the max. In this way, women are a rich complement to their male counterparts, bringing glory to a God that exemplifies leading and submission. And if you still are not persuaded that it's a noble thing to be a helper to others, God describes himself as a helper. The perfect, most powerful creator of all life calls himself helper. And what's good enough for God is good enough for the women that he's created.
The biblical and the traditional model of femininity, they do share more similarities than the modern model, but we should actually reject both the traditional and modern model and proclaim the biblical model of femininity, which actually answers the question, what is a woman? What makes a woman feminine? 1, she has unique DNA. 2, she has unique reproductive organs. 3, she's more nurturing than men. 4, she's more emotionally expressive than men. 5, she possesses less muscle mass, wider hips, and isn't as fast as males. 6, she possesses a whole lot of skills that can be utilized in the marketplace. 7, she glorifies God in a unique way because of her ability to nurture, love, serve, submit, exactly the way that God does. The biblical model differs from both traditional and modern views. Those models, they're just plain deficient. The biblical model is not, but of course it isn't. Wouldn't you expect it to be perfect? Because after all, it is, biblical.
Rather than masking an emotional struggle, the Bible tackles the sin issue head on.
I truly did not think my life would change the way it did.
Here are 2 reasons why you should consider MediShare affordable biblical health sharing. The average family saves $500 per month, double the customer satisfaction rate compared to health insurance, free telehealth. $4 billion worth of bills have been shared amongst 400,000 members. Okay, that's like 4 or 5 reasons to consider MediShare at medishare.com/wretched or call for a quote in 2 minutes, 844-34-BIBLE.